Hello, my name is Angel Mobley, and I am from Knott County Central, and my grant was entitled Heart for the Arts. I am probably the most unqualified person to do this, but it was just an idea I came up with. This year at Knott County Central, we did not have any art teacher applicants that were certified, and so we had a large group of kids that had no outlet for their talents. And so when my husband was working on his grant, Don't Be Coy, he said, you ought to write that up, what you were talking about those art kids. And so I did. What we'd like to do is actually we've already done this part, we were going to form a Knott County Central Art Council with the student body. And I talked to about 15 students and asked them if they'd be interested. And they were very, very excited about that. And they wanted to change the name the first thing. And so the first thing we did was we changed the name to the Knott County Central Student Creativity Council, because they did not want to exclude all the other kids that had different talents. In the first meeting, our principal was kind enough to let me use my planning period to meet with those kids, because a lot of those kids didn't have after-school transportation. And so we met, and we had sandwiches and fruit and that kind of thing, and I always feed them when I meet with them. And we talked about what we could do, and I'm very old school. I'm not very hip on technology. And so the first thing they said was, no, we can't do a website. We're going to do a blog. That's way hipper, Miss Mobley. And I said, okay, we'll do a blog. And so they've actually thought of the name that they want to call the blog, and it's called Patriotivity. And I have a student who already has the blog ready to go as soon as I relax a little bit and give my okay to that. And we're going to do that. I also asked a friend of mine, Dora Webb, to join us as a community partner from the UK Extension Office in Knott County. And she came up with a great idea that the 4-H office has actually books and tutorials that the kids can check out and go through and complete projects also as a joint project with 4-H. So it gave us a totally different avenue that I really didn't know a lot about. I mostly work with Dora with FFA. And so she brought that idea to the table, and she also mentioned that where I had only selected 15 kids, she also could help us maybe with some transportation to take those kids some places to do some art things. And like I said, I'm probably the most unqualified person for art. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler, but my kids are super talented, and they have a lot of skills that they like to share. And if I'm nothing else, I think I can be an advocate for their talents. And that's what I want to be for them. We've already had a mass amount of contributions. I have notebook paper sketches dropped on my desk about once an hour now. And I have 3 stories that I currently need to read to give feedback to. And the poster downstairs, I was a little concerned about that, but I think it's such a great drawing that I put it on there. It has been the big thing with my kids lately, that I want to read the book, watch the movie, and all that. So a lot of the kids are drawing. I think his name is Penny Lane. Is that right? Somebody's, what's that? Okay, good. I don't know. But it's down there, and you can see that on the poster. But the kids are really interested in, they said there were a lot of kids that did sewing projects that I didn't know about. And they'd like to take photos of those and put them on the blog. They talked about woodworking projects that the students do, and even video projects that are linked to YouTube. So I learned more than they did in the first meeting, which is usually the case when you're talking to kids. The last part of the project that we would like to do, and I've done a little bit of investigation about that, but not enough yet. We're going to try to do a book anthology where the students pick the selections that go into that book at the end, and maybe try to turn that into a little bit of an entrepreneurial project at the end of the year, just a little bit where they maybe could go on a small field trip or something. But the response has been great. I will tell you that I handpicked the students to start the committee, and I did it because I didn't want it to be a group of kids that the other kids in the building could look at and say, well, they get to do everything. Sorry, but that's what I was looking for. So I tried to pick kids that I had had in class as an English teacher that I knew had certain talents that nobody knew a lot about. For example, I have 2 students who do have IEPs on this committee, and they love to draw. That's their thing. And so to be selected to serve on a school committee, they'd never done that before, and they thought that was a really big deal. Not many people in the building, well, let me rephrase that. A lot of people in the building know Cameron Jones. He's our quarterback. He gets a whole lot of press, okay? He's 6'8". He looks like a giant walking down the hall, and he's one of the nicest, meekest people you will ever meet. And he draws all the time. And nobody knows that very much. But he had a mean old English teacher as a sophomore, and he had to do a book project, and he didn't want to write a paper, so instead he drew for his book project. And so that's how I found out about that. I also selected some students that never speak in class very much, but they keep a side notebook of where they write their journals, and they do poetry, and when they write stuff to me, they tell me they want to be a writer. So 15 kids from all kinds of different backgrounds, and when they came together for the first meeting, it was just like they had been friends the whole time. So that's kind of what I was looking for. I don't know how the book's going to turn out. I have a gnat up here chasing me. I don't know how the book's going to turn out. I think it'll be great work just because it'll be student produced. I'm sure that they will challenge my my censorship probably. I'm probably a little leaner than they are, but we'll see how they do. But I think the book's a good idea to get them published because, you know, if they're looking at scholarship applications or competing in a 4-H art contest at the state level, they can already put on their resume that they've been published. And even if it is a student publication, I don't really think that would hurt that as a resume builder for them. Does anybody have a question? All right. Well, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.